First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. When time permits, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Please forgive the voiceover today. I set my camera down during the rider orientation, and this is the footage that was on it by the end of the day. I rode the bike in western Massachusetts, which was an ideal location. They have well-maintained roads, beautiful scenery, and very few cars on the road. The first thing I noticed when getting on the Pan America was just how comfortable it was. I'm at about 5'10" on a good day, and I found the seated position with it in the standard setting and the auto lowering feature enabled me to flat foot the bike easily. Even without the feature, I could still put both feet down comfortably. I'm not sure the difference in height is really worth the mechanical issues that could come up, but it's a very interesting system for people that are somewhat short. I found the seat to be, quite honestly, the most comfortable seat I've ever used on a motorcycle. I've put an aftermarket seat on every bike I've ever owned, but I can't even imagine replacing this seat. Riding the bike, regardless of the speed you're going, it just felt right. I got the feeling I was riding in the bike, not on the bike, like I did with a sport bike or even some of the more aggressive nakeds. The seat holds you in place, the bars are very easy to reach, and the pegs were in a very comfortable location. I believe this is probably the case for most people, somewhere between 5'8" and 6 feet. Outside of that range, one of the other seats, they do offer a lower and a higher, and probably adjustments to the handlebar would be required. The comfort of the bike, along with how smooth the engine is, and it truly is smooth. The only engine I've ridden that is smoother would be a Yamaha Inline 4. Added to this, the fantastic wind protection by the fairings and the windshield. This leads you to not really realizing how powerful the bike is unless you're looking down at the speedometer. I rode to the demo on my Yamaha FC1. That's a 990cc, 150 plus horsepower bike. After riding that for an hour, I fully expected, despite having read the Pan America spec sheet, that the bike was going to feel a lot like an adventure bike and kind of muted. I could not have been more wrong. When we first got on them, they had every bike set to rain mode. And this did exactly what you would expect. It muted the throttle, it gave you a very reserved acceleration, and it made you feel like there was a less than impressive power plant in the bike. However, once we got away from the demo, and you tap the mode button twice, it comes into its own. Once you're in sport mode, the bike comes alive. Again, I rode here on a leader bike, and I should not have expected it to feel like this, but this bike is a monster on the road. It will accelerate faster than most riders are comfortable, and will absolutely go faster than anyone should even consider on the road. All of this without compromising how it handles at slow speed or off-road. More on that in another video where I did get a chance to ride the Pan America in the mud, the dirt, and a cornfield. Now, I've ridden my fair share of motorcycles, and I've loved every one of them. There's not a bad motorcycle. But this bike was something special. It has every feature you could want. It feels like it weighs far less than it should going down the road. Off-road, it practically feels light. And on the road, the important thing is, it rides like a sport bike if you want it to. None of the plodding of a big GS, none of the feeling of a V-Strom or an Africa Twin where I just need a little or just want a little bit more. This just feels like a sport bike if you twist that throttle in sport mode. Closer than any bike comes to a sport bike on the road for less than 20 grand. Now, of course, I'm wary of any first generation product, but I will be keeping my eye on this bike to see how dependable it is over time. If I was in the market for a top tier adventure bike, this one would absolutely be it.